Hey there everyone! Wanted to talk about a formal response to literature today. This is when you have to write a very formal paragraph or essay about a specific part of the text. We don't always do this in our class. We have a lot of class discussions, but it's important that you know how to organize your thoughts in a logical way. One of the ways you can do that is using an outline. So this time around we're going to use an outline. Don't worry, I know all of you don't work best with an outline. So you're not always going to have to do an outline first, but this time we are going to learn how to do it. So what happens when you get a question from your teacher that says something like, characterization is how a writer creates a character. Write about one character in The Fly and the Spider. Explain how the author develops that character. Well, first off, you have to know what characterization is, right? And we talked about this earlier in the week. Characterization is how a writer creates a character. It's like the clues they leave behind to tell you what kind of person that character is. This question says that you have to write about one character, so you're going to have to choose one character. If you wrote about two characters, you wouldn't be following the instructions. And you have to write about one of the characters from The Fly and the Spider. You have to explain how the author develops that character. Now, how exactly will you do that? You will provide examples from the story. Yep, specific details, quotes even. Let's take a look at the outline. Over here you see the blank outline that you can use for just about anything. You could use it about setting, characterization, any like formal writing. It's a good backdrop for. Over here you're going to see the specific example that we're going to talk about today. So, title of outline, The Spider, because we're going to write about the spider. 1. Definition of literary device being discussed. Okay, that's easy, right? Characterization. The clues that the writer gives us as to what kind of person the character is. Number 2. Author's name and title of piece. That's easy, right? The author's name was Mary Howitt and the title is The Spider and the Fly. You always want to use the author's first and last name the first time that you talk about them, and you always want to include the full title of the piece. Number 3. How the writer uses the device. This is really a tough one, and it might be the hardest part of your paragraph because it's what your whole paragraph is going to prove. So I decided that she uses characterization to show the reader that the spider is a manipulative predator. Because that's what he is, right? He's a manipulative predator. So she uses those clues to show us that. Then you have to provide an example. Now, an example is a specific part of the story that proves your idea. So in this case, my example is, the spider tells the fly that she must be tired and asks her to lay down on his bed to rest. Now notice I put a number here. If you have page numbers, put a page number. If you have a section number, put a section number. If you have a line number, you put a line number. But you have to put a number. You have to allow your reader to go back into the story and find the specific example you're talking about. What the spider really means is that he will wrap her in a web and eat her. By making it seem that he is trying to be nice and take care of her, he is trying to make her think that he is going to be nice and not kill her. So notice here, my number 2 is my explanation of my example. You have to explain how your example relates to your number 3. So in number 3, I said he manipulates and he's a predator. So when I gave the example, I then have to explain how he's manipulating her. Okay, so my next example is, he ends up telling her how pretty she is and tells her that she can look at herself in his mirror. Okay, and that's in section 6. He preys on her vanity to get her to come back. It works. Quote. Now notice I put a quote here. Why did I put quotes? Because I'm about to provide a word-for-word example from the story. When you use the exact same words as the story, you have to use quotes. Hearing his wily, flattering words came slowly flitting by, and I put the section number. When she returns, he grabs her and kills her. So there's my example. Now I have to explain it. He preys on her weakness, her vanity to trap and kill her. So again, I'm going back to the idea of him being a predator and being manipulative. Now, concluding thoughts are often the second hardest thing to think about. And in this case, I said that the characterization is used to show that the spider is a manipulative predator. But why does the author do that? Why does the author create a manipulative predator? Well, here's my concluding thought. The reader learns that if you fall for a predator's manipulative words or actions, you will end up being his prey. So I didn't say that anywhere else yet. It's a new thought. What you don't want to do in your conclusion is repeat the same thing that you already said. You want to come up with a new idea. You want to come up with the so what. Why does it matter? What is the writer showing us? What did I learn from this piece? So what you're going to do next is you're going to create your own. You're going to write another outline. Characterization is how a writer creates a fictional character. Discuss one character from The Spider and the Fly. Okay, you can choose any character you want. You can even do the spider again. If you wanted to use my number 1, my number 2, my number 3, that's fine. But you have to provide different examples. If you want to write about the fly, that's fine too. All you have to do is the outline part of it, and I'll be checking those in class.